Hi, my name is Gita Goven. I'm the Chairperson of Africa123, which is an amazing organization that has been put together by people with amazing skills, vision, and a belief in the power of Africa to be 3 billion strong by 2063. The work that we do has unfolded after 3 decades of being involved in the struggle on the ground, being involved in developmental projects and putting together projects at scale. And now we are able to bring this to making and shaping new cities for Africa. The biggest challenges that we have faced is one of shifting the mindset. There was a worldview for a long while that really focused on being able to extend and develop the existing cities. And over the last decade, it's become very evident that the ability to increase the capacity of existing cities has been reached. And if we don't create new cities consciously and carefully, we have a number of multiple problems that come together. Urbanization of the poor into ghettos, joblessness, poverty, extreme misery, and migration of people for economic and political and climate displacement reasons. One of the big challenges we've faced is that capital is always very traditionally minded. It's not very southern friendly in the sense that the parameters that they deem to be risk-free or lowering risk are not the same as what we understand here. And yet, time and again, it has been shown that if you take, for example, microcredit companies that have invested in housing improvement, their performance rates are often way higher than the rates of normal conventional banking processes. So I think when you engage with people at a level where they understand the value of what being engaged in the economy offers them, and then on the back of that being able to access their housing, amazing things become possible. So the next investment space, the most exciting investment space, is Africa, where 50% of the global population by 2063 are going to be African youth, and 60% of yet available arable land is in Africa. Now, what that offers us is the opportunity and the ability to rethink our infrastructure systems and the very materials we use for the creation of 150 million homes for Africans on the African continent that doesn't further destabilize the planet and planetary systems. How exciting is that? The types of cities that we are looking at are urban cities that work with circular economies, circular ecologies, where every single resource within the urban system, from construction through to the operations, through to the demolition of buildings, allows every single nutrient, material, element to be rethought and reworked into the urban ecosystem and the system of delivery. If we start designing cities like that from scratch, we can actually set up these innovation hubs. We can set up these recycling factories that actually allow this to happen on a daily basis, so that your organic waste is converted to nutrients. Your water is recovered and reused in future and fit for purpose cascades of water use. And that much of the food that's required in the urban terrain can actually be grown in the urban terrain. Not only that, our cities actually become urban forests. If you take the example of Johannesburg, for example, which was a city developed because it was located close to the gold. It didn't even have water very nearby. Over time, people have built beautiful gardens with lots of trees. That city shows up as a forest, as a tropical forest on satellite imagery. And that has changed the microclimate of that city and brought down the temperature many, many degrees lower than what it would have been if that had not been the case. Gatherings like the Africa New Cities Summit brings together a very diverse spectrum of people, but sharing a similar value system and consideration for how to accelerate the access to the goods, services, and opportunities within urbanization and the urban terrain within the African continent. This has been a really, really exciting gathering, and people are innovating, they are developing systems, they are working against huge odds with very few resources often to create amazing solutions. I think we all have a lot to learn from each other. And in the new cities that we operate in, we've got to think big, but at the end of the day, everything is made up of those small actions every day that an individual, a family, a business, or an enterprise undertakes. And it's when we understand the power of those small things as well as the larger things that we begin to really create those multiple opportunities that can work to a common set of values where the economy works in service of the people and the people work in service of the planet. And that's how we create thrivability.